What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to the A Show with the Kings of Pro Wrestling Podcast. I'm Justin, here with Meelz. What's going on, Meelz?
I don't know. I don't know what's going on. How's everything with you?
I hear the sirens, so something going on in the hood.
It's always, I don't know. It's because I live on a busy street, but until I move one day, and I fear that I'm just gonna end up moving to somewhere where there's probably gonna be more police sirens. To be honest with you, because
you're not making the New York is not Gotham City narrative any better.
No. It's definitely Gotham City for sure. But there are areas. Here's the thing, right? There are areas of New York that are very quiet and quaint-ish. Still probably robberies and stuff.
Still
definitely
robberies is so great to hear.
Yeah, but I'm just thinking. So my experience is that, like, I live in an apartment. I don't know, the police sirens. It'll just be the soundtrack for this rant. I live in an apartment. I've never had anyone break into my house, right? But I feel like if I live in a house, it would be much easier to break into my house.
Yeah.
I don't know why it's a cold open. But so I'm just like, what am I really giving up? Like, in today's economy.
Oh boy.
Like, I see the value of staying in an apartment as opposed to owning a house. It's so much now. And yes, in 20 years, everything will cost more, and inflation and all this stuff like that. And everybody should have been buying houses when they're in second grade and all the other stuff like that. Yes, we know all that. But I don't know. There's got to be some value in renting, right? As opposed to owning.
Yeah, I mean, there's some value in renting. I mean, obviously, you don't want to rent like long term. That's why, like, a lot of people who I've been trying to like, we have like a realtor that's trying to work with us right now. That's been working with us for a year, and she just like, you don't want to rent more than 2 years. You know what I'm saying? You want to like, you definitely want to look into buying as soon as possible. But if you rent somewhere, like no more than 2 years, because like you're just throwing money in the toilet.
Yeah.
But it's the only, like, I feel like some realtors don't get that, like, it's the only option that we have right now. Like, nobody has $1,000 to just put down on a house right now. Like, regardless of what you say,
and then the maintenance for the house is insane, because now you're in ownership and you're taking on all of these things. Like my mom owns a house now in Florida, and still it's like, some shit fell over, got to do this, got to cut the tree in the backyard, got to repave the driveway, got to do all this other stuff. And this costs money, like money. And you still have to pay your mortgage and stuff like that. I'm not saying people shouldn't get houses. I'm not saying that. I'm saying, look at your options, pick which one works best for you. Every year I say I should get a car. Every year. Multiple times a year. I saw Quan getting his car towed away. I was like, I should get a car. Like, that's how much it's like on my brain constantly. I'm not getting a car.
I think what you do, like, there's no reason to get one unless you're trying to drive out the city. So like, you would be giving yourself like a $300-$400 bill to drive it like once in a while. But I would say, if you're gonna get a car, Meelz, you should just lease it at that point, because if you're not gonna drive it a lot, you get a lot of value out of it that way, and you'll be able to go a lot more places.
Okay. All right.
Like, lease a little Civic or something. Get your car payment down. I'm pretty sure you have, solid credit. And plus, if it's your first time, they always kind of give you a deal on that too. I don't think you've ever had a car before.
No.
I think, like, at best with your insurance, it wouldn't be too crazy. But out here in California, car ownership is just nuts right now. But I think just in general, like, you would have more of an advantage getting one if you just leased it. If you're really thinking about getting one and just to have the experience, that's cool. But I feel like if you were to get one, it's for you to go to, the Hamptons or Philly.
The Hamptons. The Hamptons.
Hey man, I don't know what you do. I don't know.
This is true. I don't know what I would do either, but I would find out. I'll tell you that right now. So that's that. What has been going on in my life? I just got Chick-fil-A and I ordered mac and cheese and they forgot the mac part. So that was interesting.
Oh, they just gave you some noodles?
They just gave me cheese, bro.
Sheesh.
Check out my Instagram, is there. Legitimately just gave me a cup of cheese. What else?
Put it on the chicken. It's a new wave.
No, you about to make my insides explode. That shit is they trying to kill me. Pouring just pure unadulterated raw cheese on shit. You're fucking insane. Let's see. Ooh, you know what I wanted to say? I wanted to promote a couple of things because I have comments on them.
Mm-hmm.
A couple of the things that we got going on. First of all, if you haven't already, tune into the Lookout. But Jamal and I, we're going over Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. It's arguably one of the greatest anime that's ever existed.
I don't know about that, but go ahead.
I mean, it's not my greatest anime that ever existed, but it's Jamal's greatest anime that ever existed, and we're going to legitimately like put this to the test because I've watched it once. I have not watched it twice. Thus far, what I've rewatched thus far is good. So we'll see.
I got up to 20 episodes, and I was just like, when we about to pop off here? Maybe I need.
When does it get amazing? Do you want to come on?
Like
Jamal was like, we should have him watch it, and I was like, I don't know if Justin wants to watch this.
What else do I have to do? But but honestly, I'm about to be real, bro. Like, I'm about to be real. 20
be really real
episodes in, I was like, what's going on? There was a fight. I remember there was like, I will have to restart it at this point because I don't remember anything from the show. But I remember being like, and we talked about this because I watched it during like early pandemic. I was watching it. You were like, it's gonna get good, bro. Don't worry, it's one of the greatest of all time. I'm like, I don't know. Like,
I probably didn't tell you it was the greatest of all time because that was the second anime I ever watched other than Dragon Ball Z. Bro, I was like, this is pretty good. I probably was like, this is pretty good. Not gonna lie, it gets really good.
Do niggas not gas shit though? Do
niggas gas it? One of the things I said on our episode was that the anime was better knowing that I didn't have 40,000 niggas telling me it was the greatest anime of all time back then.
I think that's a big part of it for me as well.
Because I don't know if you've seen Kev on Stage on Twitter. He's been watching anime.
I used to work with Kev on Stage. Me and him.
Oh, really?
All Def Digital together. Yes.
Oh, wow.
Me and him worked at All Def Digital together, and Kev is my guy. Like, I really fuck with Kev because he was one of the few people that, like, he took me to the side one time, and I'll never forget this advice. But he was just like, this place might not work for you, but I know there's a bunch of places that will work for you. So you need to get the fuck out of here, basically. like he, because I remember, you know.
Yes, like, I know. I still remember you telling the tale of the first day there.
Yeah, like I was miserable at All Def Digital, and he was one of the few people there that could see through the bullshit, and really gave me some really cool advice. And I'll never. He probably don't even fucking remember me, but like, with all the shit he does now, he's on our Spectrum commercials, like our cable out here. Yeah. He's on our commercials.
He does a lot.
But I'm so happy with all of the success that he has received in the last couple of years, and he's a great guy. But I'm sorry, that was just a aside. I just wanted to.
No, that was perfect. That was amazing. I added context to this. This is what O'Shea Jackson Jr. is talking about. You know.
Yeah, I just wanted to wax poetic about how great of a person he was and how great he was to me.
So he's gotten into anime, and the first one he got into was Attack on Titan.
Yeah.
So he watched it, and it's amazing. So now people have just been recommending him animes, and the worst thing you can do is have 40,000 rabid anime fans telling you why you should watch this one, about why you should watch the original before you watch the remake, because the original has, it goes by the original manga and blah, 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 and shit like that. So
it's like when people ask about AEW and they say, well, you gotta watch Nakajima versus all that bullshit.
So listen, we're having a great time watching it. Make sure you stay tuned to that. Also wanted to say shout out to the War Report again. The funniest part of listening to the War Report every week is them getting to, I guess we got to talk about wrestling.
I honestly, truthfully, and I don't know, on Quan's side, because Quan watches everything, but I do truly feel really bad because like they're one of the few podcasts. Well, no, not even one of the few. Like they were one of the first podcasts to call out AEW when the shows were getting bad. And I
Right.
still feel like there's a bunch of shows that still lie and act like these shows are good, if you know what I mean. But I think that like with them, I feel really bad that they have to continue to watch like a show where it's like one or two matches that are really good, but really nothing to hold them to it. I feel terrible
Right.
about it. And when NXT is like on a transition period, because like they're in a transition period and they're also in a period where there's they're about to begin to bring
NXT
in
gets, right, like every 18 months NXT gets really, really bad. Before it becomes like, oh, here's this talent. Oh, we didn't even know what we had until that stand and deliver when people start putting two and two together.
yeah.
It gets really, really bad. But we're almost to stand and deliver. But
Yeah. And I think that like also it's like with NXT, it's like I said, they're cycling people out right now. So like at the end of the day, like they're still going to be dealing with like new people coming in and out, and that's just going to be a thing. But like AEW is what it is.
yes, it
Like
is. We're gonna talk about AEW on this because I got some gripes with whatever they got going on currently.
okay,
But I wanna give a shout out to them. Your banter is amazing. Make sure you guys also listen to the War Report if you just like good banter before they talk about wrestling. But also when they talk about wrestling, it's like for like half an hour and they get through it, and you get everything you need to know. Third thing, you guys is throwbacks. I have never been as I'm not someone who goes out and says, "Can I be on your podcast?" Um, because it's tacky to me. I like to be invited on podcasts.
mm-hmm.
There's never been a podcast I felt like I've wanted to be invited more on than the Usher Confessions one.
Oh
Um,
man.
it is legitimately my favorite album of all time.
Well,
Um,
when we recorded that, we had to we like me. Well, my schedule's not as
No,
crazy.
it's fine. It's fine. It's not even like a thing, but just hearing you guys talk about it and go through Usher like retrospectively, it was incredible. It was great. It was a
Thank
great listen. I listened through it through my walk.
thank you.
Um and yeah, I was there listening, wanting to be part of it. So I'll just say that you guys did an amazing job. And I mean, there's a lot of stuff I could have added, but it was still an amazing job.
Whoa.
I know because I'm like deep in the lore. Like I know like their lore. There's not much lore with
There's
Usher
lore,
to be honest with you.
there is lore though. There is lore, and we got into a little bit of that. So like,
Right.
if you guys haven't checked out Throwblacks, definitely do that and make sure that's on your to do list. But I think what the lore of Usher is that he was in so many ways. A lot of it to me when I was researching, a lot of this could have not happened at all. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? Like it could have like that first album flopped. It could have been over. You know what I'm saying? So like I think ultimately, like when you look at and then I didn't even notice how long he takes between albums. He takes long breaks, Meelz between albums. Like
And I think that's helped with his staying
Perception.
power in a sense. Yeah, and perception, to be honest with you. But what I will say is what bottom line Usher is. I think Usher is like 75% performer slash entertainer and 25% artist.
Yeah.
And it's the performance that really sells you because the fact he sings good, he dances good, his songs are good, all this other stuff like that. But when it comes to the art itself, you see that until someone has a clear direction for him, and really the only clear directive album was I would say My Way and probably Confessions are like the clear, like, hey, directed,
Yeah.
like here's what we want you to sound like, here's the best thing for you to sound like, and here's how to do it in a cohesive way. So I
Mhm.
credit Jermaine Dupri to both of those. But other than that, he is like a plastic bag in the wind when it comes to everything else. Because every other album, and I said this on Twitter once, and then niggas got mad at me because, and I don't like to talk about verses and years that aren't 2020, but I'm one of the very few who are like Usher versus Chris Brown versus. is closer than people think.
Really?
It's not Usher completely running away with it, because Chris Brown has amazing records.
Yeah.
Like, and I feel like a lot of people hold it to the standard of Usher because you don't have to call and all these other things. But Chris Brown has.
I just feel like that's going to end in a fist fight, because I think Chris Brown going to get mad. I think he's going to get mad at something. You know, I feel like it's going to end in a fist fight. But yeah, you're right. I think Chris Brown has the hits, but I think in terms of legacy, like,
I think he's the longest lasting. He's had a longer run near the top. Well, actually, I don't want to say that because Usher's been out since the 90s, and has been relevant for a pretty long time. And a lot of it has been viral success, to be honest with you. But I'm talking about like staying hit power. Chris Brown has had like big records at least every year since he's been out. But even the down years.
It goes to say that also, like, there are no, and I mentioned this on the show, there isn't nothing new under the sun right now, so to speak.
Right.
Like, there's no new cats that are making me feel like, oh man, this shit about to be lit. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's nobody like that right now. And
it's still kind of Chris Brown. That's what the weird part about it is. Like, what's the song? I forgot what it's called, but
No Guidance.
No. But No Guidance was a big record too, and that happened like 15 years into Chris Brown's career.
Right.
And now he's got Under the Influence.
But No Guidance was a moment. No Guidance was a moment, though. You know what I mean?
Oh, Sensational. Sensational is an amazing fucking record.
What chart?
Let me see. Sensational by Chris Brown. It's got 47 million things on Twitter. I mean, not Twitter, on YouTube. 47 million views on YouTube. 94. Interesting.
Like, is it a hit?
I don't know. I guess not, huh? But it's an amazing song.
We getting into hit talk right now. You know, Josh has been killing me for the past week. He just won't stop.
I think he still got. I mean, ultimately, he still had a hit last year, so it is what it is. He had the shit that came off his 2 albums ago. Like, he had a hit that came from an album Under the Influence was a hit last year. And that one came from like 2019 or 20 or something along those lines. So he had Go Crazy, which didn't get the run that it got a couple years ago. He had No Guidance the year before that.
No Guidance had the Drake, like, at one of the heights of his powers too, though. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, this is true. But you had like Back to Sleep. I just feel like New Flame is the Chris Brown record, but it also features. But Usher is one who really like Baby Babe. But I just think when you put their records side to side, both are amazing artists in the span of like have created great music that people still bump today. And I don't think it's like Usher completely runs away with it. I feel like Chris Brown can grab a couple rounds if he wanted to. I'm just saying that. Ultimately, Usher wins, but Chris Brown's grabbing some rounds. And Chris Brown is gonna. If this was 2020, Chris Brown's was like, "Nigga, you ain't got no records from after 2012." Like, he would say one of those shits.
One of them slick comments.
That's why Hot Toddy.
That's where the fist fight gonna pop off. That's where the fist fight's gonna pop off. That's why I feel like truly Chris Brown is gonna have to hold really be calm. Like, this is your homeboy.
This is true.
Don't fight him. Don't fight him, bro. This is your homeboy. Remember who this is. This is Usher, bro. Usher, baby.
Absolutely.
But I hear you. I think that there's I mean, but that's where like the Super Bowl stuff started, was from the disrespect of people saying Usher couldn't do it, and people saying Usher is gonna lose the verses. Like, they was really playing on his name. Meelz. I need you to confirm this.
No, they absolutely were. I think yeah, they were. Usher has done some questionable things or made questionable songs. Why? They must be a fire or something. Usher has made questionable decisions musically over the last decade. But ultimately, he's still one of the best that's ever did it.
Yeah,
that we will acknowledge.
Now that we have scared away any wrestling fans,
of course, they're not the wrestling fan people. Wrestling fans who are staying for Usher talk is the wrestling fans we talk to. If you got scared away by Usher and Chris Brown and shit, maybe we not the pod for you. I don't know what to say.
Let's get into. This is a prediction show, by the way. This weekend is Elimination Chamber. We're gonna get into that in a few. But is there any news, any pressing things that we need to talk about this year?
We didn't talk about. I mean, we haven't talked about anything TNA related, but TNA absolutely TNA'd over the last 2 weeks.
Soon. You crossed the line too soon. Let me just tell you, brother. Y'all was crossing the line, and yeah, we got the chat ready for Thursdays. I said, all right.
I'm gonna keep it a buck with you. I tuned in for the first one. I was like, all right, I'm out. Can I tell you my biggest gripe with TNA?
Is that their TNA? Go ahead.
It's a very insignificant gripe, and it happened to me while I was watching what's that pay-per-view? Hard to Kill. The mic they have in the ring is the worst. You can hear every footstep. Entire matches just sound like. You can hear every footstep, and that gets on my nerves because I made sure to look at it when I was watching AEW and WWE. That part is like parsed out, but with TNA's production, it's the type of ring that they have in terms of the support of the ring, but you can hear everything, and I'm just like, bro, get this shit off my television. So yeah, I didn't stick around for much after that, but over the last week or so, last 2 weeks actually, Scott D'Amore, who was pretty much the I would guess the H of TNA.
Yeah, he H.
Was
Naomi H? Naomi
is.
Oh, I'm sorry. Was Naomi D'Amore?
Naomi was D'Amore for sure. She was D'Amore. But ever since that kind of like Hard to Kill and the success of that and the crossover thing with the Royal Rumble, people have been like, all right, we're ready to get back on TNA. It looks like they're heading in the right direction. And then a couple weeks.
I said, all right. Y'all sure?
Literally, like maybe a week and a half later, Scott D'Amore gets essentially fired from TNA because the TNA's parent company Anthem are just like, we just want to take the company in a different direction. We want to help with the merger. We want to continue to build TNA. They gave some bullshit excuse. It is the worst excuse that I've ever heard in my life. And people are genuinely confused of this man who's been a part of, back when we watched TNA, Scott D'Amore was on television, part of Team Canada. So he's been part of the DNA of TNA for a very, very long time. Ooh. And you see what I did there? But then this sudden departure, it doesn't sit well with people in the company, and sitting well with people outside of the company. And it feels very like, it feels like some shit that happens pretty much, to be honest, feels like some shit that happens every day. What are your kind of like, I don't even know what are your thoughts are the kind of question.
I don't got no thoughts. These niggas are doing what they do. I don't got no thoughts on this. I don't even know how to talk it. We don't never talk about TNA unless they like do some crazy shit. Then they did some old crazy shit and they put them on the docket, and we're not going to talk about them for another couple more. We didn't even talk about them when Naomi was on the show. We're going to talk about Naomi today more than we talking about Naomi for the past year.
This is true.
Because niggas crossed the line too early. Y'all need to stop crossing these lines, bruh. Y'all need to cross the DMV line. Get your license renewed. Because y'all need to stop crossing the line. I don't want to see Thursdays in our Discord spoiler chat popping at all no more. What's the reason? Unless it's like a scoop. in there. And shout out to our Discord because we got them scoops now.
They told Josh Alexander today, nigga, where you thought you was going.
They hit him with the "You're here forever." They said, "You want to get drugging off, nigga? You better drag your ass into this warehouse, nigga."
Oh God.
What wrong with this pussy nigga? That's what they hit that boy with.
Last week Tuesday, during the double taping of NXT, Shotzi, who was scheduled to participate in an Elimination Chamber qualifying match, was injured. No idea on the severity of her injury. Has not been reported yet. Has not reported.
ACL.
It's ACL. It's like for sure confirmed.
Yep.
Damn, ACL. She outie. It's sad for Shotzi. Hate to have it happen during an NXT thing. Yeah, it's just a bad feeling. Novak brought it up a couple weeks ago that there's been like this massive influx of like ACL tears for women in sports just in general over the last number of years. So it'll be interesting if anyone kind of like does any science on that of like why, or is it just purely coincidence at this point? But yeah, it's a shout to Shotzi. Get well soon. Let's see what else is part of the news.
It's just terrible that it had to be her. You know what I'm saying? I think that you know what I appreciate what they do, right? Is that they will give their talent that's not going overseas something to do. And I really appreciate that about what the E does, because they're like, because I was like, even last week, I was like, nigga, you ain't going to no goddamn.
You ain't going to Perth.
You ain't going no goddamn. You get a perk. You ain't going to Perth. You know what I'm saying?
Not even Perth. You're not going to Perth. That
is. You can eat a perk. You ain't going to Perth, nigga. You feel me?
You're unhinged. We'll go off.
Come on now. But listen, I think it's just a shame. But I wonder how they're gonna play that off on TV this week.
I mean, I read the taping, so hopefully they do exactly what the hell they just did there, because I would love to see it. Let's see what else has happened here. Listen, man. Also, Nikita Lyons is out with an injury again.
Yeah,
Milfe out with an injury.
There was some interesting stuff that Shawn Michaels said about Nikita. I don't know if you saw this quote, but he just basically said something to the effect of like, people who are coming back like Nikita, they can't just walk in and think that they're just gonna run shit. No, he didn't say like run shit, but like he was like, she still gotta work for it. And that's one thing that he sees, like these people still gotta work for it. And I thought it was interesting that he singled her out with that. So I always wonder how he himself deals with attitude issues, being the most attitudinal executive, or at least in his past.
Can I give my theory on like why that might have happened?
What's that?
And this is the theory, not substantiated on anything. It's not even real, or it may not be real. I feel like Shawn has his favorites. Nikita is clearly not one of his favorites. It's not like he hates her, but it's clearly that he has his favorites. Right. And I feel like maybe at one point Nikita probably called out and it was like, so if I was Lyra, would I be getting this? You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, if I was Mello.
Yeah. If it was, would this be happening? Like, would I be getting my, I came back and so I could see that.
Yeah. It was an odd thing to say. I was just like, that was weird for him to say that in public. Like, I was like, what a weird thing to say.
Have you read this this Reddit top dollar thing?
I wish that we could like leave him behind in some way, shape, or form. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree. But here we are.
There he goes, right there. His new job. There he goes, right there. Shit.
Top dollar held a Twitter space yesterday.
Why is he doing Twitter spaces and doing this? Like, is this the new RF video shoot? Like, why is he doing this?
Because his entire fan base is on Twitter. He lives, breathes, dies with the support of Twitter. If it goes to Instagram, it's quiet. Like Twitter is where it's at. He doesn't. His brain doesn't live on other social media platforms. Here's some notes from it, according to Squared Circle on Reddit.
He might need to get his brain checked out.
And you can comment on these notes however you want to comment.
Okay.
He says, denies Triple H wanted Swerve back.
What do you think about that? I saw that part. I was like, what do you think about it?
He says, well, again, he followed up and says Paul Levesque knew that he had a 5-year deal with AEW. Do I think H wanted? I mean, he invited pretty much everybody else back. I mean, like, there's a lot of people here, like, you know, that aren't really doing much, but they back. You know what I'm saying? I feel like he wanted to. I think he wanted to give everybody who was part of that NXT run that didn't really get the call up or got released before it was like too soon, unjustly, give them a shot. So I could say H probably wanted Swerve back. To be honest with you, I don't know.
I don't want to do right with nobody. You know what I'm saying? I like. What's the point of doing right with him by him? You feel me?
This is true.
Ain't no reason.
But he says on the main roster, Dollar was meant to be the single star, and Swerve was supposed to be the tag guy.
We heard that. We've heard that.
He says H and Stephanie are not divorced. Why we needed to know that?
Why do you care? But all right.
He says he talked to Triple H last week. Meltzer's report of him having enemies is right, and it wasn't about Triple H, Heyman, Cole, Hayes. Do the math. I'm like, what math? Like,
who has enemies? Top Dollar?
He has enemies. Yeah, Top Dollar has enemies. Like, that's the reason why he was released only and not his other two people.
He was saying he has enemies.
Yes, he's saying he has enemies.
Vince, I guess. Who?
Maybe, I guess. I mean, he got fired, so clearly that enemy is still there. He says Regal was at SmackDown right after leaving AEW. Like, lit. That's fire. He clearly knew where he was going. Let's see. Kayla Braxton is better in person than Kathy Kelly.
I've seen both of them. I've seen both of them in person. All right, up close and personal.
Okay,
they are both good work. That is
amazing.
Both good work. Good work.
As great looking as advertised is what we'll say.
I don't know why he's comparing, but alas,
maybe someone asked him. You know, it's Twitter.
Hey, bruh. Hey, bruh. Who look better person, my nigga? Who look better, bruh? Kathy Kelly or goddamn Kayla Braxton, man? We've been arguing about this in the Discord for about a couple months, my nigga. Now we got the real nigga that's gonna give us the answer for this. Is that what somebody asked him?
I feel like that was pretty much, that might have been like word for word, bar for bar.
Say, bruh, who looked the best, my nigga?
He says 99% of wrestlers couldn't beat him in a real fight, so doing jobs is fine. And he says shoot fighters like Brock Riddle and Baron Corbin don't count.
Yeah, 4K. He forgot 4K, but go ahead.
Now here's the most disgraceful one. LA Knight got 2 million views in 24 hours with Hit Row. Hit Row got no credit. Hasn't done that since.
All right, let's see. I want to do this on air. All right,
please.
LA Knight. Oh, a Knight's Tale comes up for LA Knight. LA Knight. WWE. All right. Here we are. LA Knight 303. Story of LA Knight's meteoric rise 1.2. LA Knight cuts off Roman Reigns 81.8. LA Knight says the Money in the Bank contract has his name on it 1.2. This is 8 months ago, far after they left, right? LA Knight gets touching tribute to Bray Wyatt 1.1. John Cena and LA Knight turn the tables on Roman Reigns 1.4. I mean, should I continue? There are several. 1 million and over 1 million.
Can I tell you the reason why that LA Knight and Hit Row 1 got as much as it did?
What?
So this was the show at Madison Square Garden that I went to. LA Knight was not on TV. So this was the only place where you could see LA Knight was on this exclusive clip from Madison Square Garden. So it's not like it was a TV thing or anything. It was just like, first of all, 60% of people in MSG missed it because them niggas came out 7:15. Show usually starts 7:30, but they got started early. Like 60% of niggas missed it, including people in our own Discord who showed up like on time, but like they went on early. So that was the only place you could see it. I'm not attributing this to Hit Row. He's bugging. Was trying to work a match with Cole at SummerSlam. Pat McAfee would have been involved. He said Michael Cole loved the idea, but he had to pitch it to Bruce Pritchard. He had to pitch it when Bruce Pritchard wasn't around. So is he saying Bruce Pritchard is his ops?
Let's be clear. Hey, shout out Bruce. I got my right fist up.
I'm gonna wrestle with.
Shout out Bruce, bro. That's rumor and innuendo. You feel me? Listen, I don't give a fuck, nigga. At the end of the day, I don't care, nigga. Who cares? So you got ops. So what? I got ops too.
Listen, we all got ops at this point. Day after he got released, Hunter told him the door wasn't closed. I'm sure he tells that to everybody.
Listen, the door is closed.
AJ Styles played Madden on an Xbox 360 and asked him about real life players. Okay.
Okay. Listen, I hate this nigga. Can this be the last time we ever talk about him?
This is true, but we gotta hold on. He says Bobby Lashley was meant to join Hit Row, and I'm like, in what universe
would he ever want to fuck niggas?
He said basically the Street Profits' current position. Let's end there. Listen, let's get into something. Well, here are two things I want to talk about this week. And it comes from these two shows that we watched before we head into predictions. Because it's a very glaring, to me, it's a glaring issue on both shows for very big moments of the show. But what I want to talk about is authenticity. Authenticity played a major role in me giving two major segments on both AEW and WWE thumbs down this week because I just didn't believe it.
I give everything thumbs down on AEW programming.
They got some shit going on over there, but not the shit that matters. No, everything that matters is terrible.
I can tell you a single storyline going on that shit.
The Young Bucks are the official EVPs, and that is their gimmick. We've tap danced about this over the last week. And I'll say this. One, I haven't seen the segment, but I heard enough about the segment to make me realize why it didn't work well. And for some reason, they had this segment with Darby Allin. Darby Allin is not a marksman of the mic in any stretch of the imagination.
Right.
I've legitimately heard him talk only in pre-tapes. Stuff like that. Not to say that he can't talk, but he's not known for his talking. It just is. He's known for what Sting used to do like 20 years ago. Show up, look gloomy, throw his body into something, and call it a day. Apparently, they had like this work shoot promo this week on the show.
Ugh, I hate even the name of it, but yeah.
Where Darby Allin is running down the EVPs, the Young Bucks. It said something along those lines of like, this is a company where it's like all the friends only just, it's really only people who are benefiting or like the California friends. He says he wasn't on AEW's first show, but Brandon Cutler was. He says, thankfully there was only one EVP who had the smarts to sign me, which prompted a Cody chant on AEW.
He said, "Not you guys and not Kenny." That's what prompted that part.
That's crazy that Cody Rhodes is over in AEW for the first time.
It's just terrible. Just terrible. I think when you don't get, I mean, even Meltzer was mad about this. You heard that? You
I
heard
heard.
that? He was upset about it. Like, what? He was like, "What is wrong with y'all? Like, what's going on with y'all?" I think that they're coasting so much on these same people. They go to their shows and do stuff that they honestly think there is nothing wrong. And at that point, it's like, what is scolding them going to do? Like, they don't listen to anything.
This whole story again. I've talked about this at multiple times because I feel like the storyline is going in such a bad direction for the company, and it's reminding me of, and not that I saw it, but maybe you'll have a better judgment of this. It reminds me of the latter days of WCW and kind of like how they did their in-ring product, where they would borrow like from real life things, but it would never really become a story that centers around either the company or centers truly around like the opponents themselves overcoming it. It's really just like a story of like people getting themselves over and making themselves laugh during this insane gimmick that only online internet newsletter readers are going to buy.
But they're actively like going against people that want to see this company do well, right? Like these like they are going against people that want to see this company do well. You know what I mean? Like there's nobody that wants to see them going through what they're going through right now. And I'm sorry to say, the Okada's not going to help this. Sasha's isn't going to help this because this type of shit's going to it might even get worse with those people.
Yeah.
like no lie, it might get worse. And I think that like when you do stuff like this, and let's just be clear, like the Buck stuff is just stupid as fuck. Just hands down. Hands down. I don't care if they talked about them beating up Sting's son the week before and didn't do it the week after. None of that. The Bucks are not cool. They're not cool niggas, bruh. Like they are not cool. They've never been cool, and they're trying to be. They're trying way too hard to be cool, bro. Like they're just not cool guys.
They're not the draws that they're. I guess they're supposed to be lauded as. And it's clear and clear every week. And I'm not sure if people are actually seeing. People are saying that, oh my God, I love this gimmick. This gimmick is genius. I was the first one. I remember specifically the week this happened, and they called themselves out as EVPs. I was like, this is the laziest gimmick that I've ever seen in my life, and it's going to help no one. Because you look at kind of like, and it's weird because there's some players in AEW who could see this coming, but let's take a look at like not necessarily authority figures. Well, I guess authority figures. I guess they are authority figures, but they don't really like they find people, which is another like cute joke. We're finding people, but you look at like what the motivation for the authority was, and what the motivation for Young Bucks were, right?
Mm-hmm.
And kind of like what is Young Bucks doing? They're making sure that AEW gets the. They're trying to like exhaust it of all the things that aren't making it good or something along those lines. But authority, their purpose, their story, their end game ended up being like, and what they lived and they end up officially like dying by is to get over talent by the gross misuse of their power. And you saw Bryan Danielson, reap the benefits of that. CM Punk was on his way before he decided to leave. Roman Reigns, a lot of other people. Like this is like what those kind of things are for. You can kind of clearly see like the difference in how it's etched with the Young Bucks.
Well, I think a lot of it is also the Bucks trying to take their narrative back. Like they're trying to take the narrative back and be
but
like,
it's too late.
Oh, absolutely. I know, but I'm just saying this is what it seems like to me, is that they're trying to take it back. They've had some huge losses. I think that no one really wants to talk about it because they keep bringing in all these people. But when you think about it, right, let's just get it down to brass tacks. Under their stewardship, under their leadership, they have lost another leader in Cody. They have lost CM Punk. They have lost Jade Cargill. They have lost all of these people, and I'm sorry, Okada's not going to make up for that. Monet is not going to make up for that. All these people are not going to make up for those losses. You know what I'm saying? Like these are huge like life altering, company altering losses. Okada in America is not a company altering loss. You know what I'm saying? Or a company altering thing, because you know what? Look at Takeshita. You feel me? Like, look at what they've done with that foreign talent. Like, most of the foreign talent in the company, don't they just get jobbed out anyway?
I mean, to be honest, you can look at Kenny Omega as the greatest thing. Like, Kenny Omega had a thriving New Japan pro wrestling career, and really his first time working full time in the States is AEW. And while he was world champion, the company has not had success because of Kenny Omega by any stretch of the imagination.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't see the same thing for Okada, because I feel like there's a lot you gotta not only just communicate, but you gotta have a plan, a full plan, and you gotta have the structure, and you gotta have the creative mind to figure out how to make this work. And you're looking at this every week, and you're like, how the Young Bucks gimmick doesn't really work without CM Punk. To be real with you,
Right.
like, how is this? You assume this role because of this one situation that happened, but you can't even remediate that situation. And in the span of time, don't get me wrong, there was a full year between Brawl Out and CM Punk leaving, and they could have very well did it if they wanted to play EVP. They literally waited until he left to do this gimmick.
This don't hit with Sting without Punk. This don't hit with Sting and Darby. It hits with Sting with Punk, because then
or if there was an option for a Cody, I think this would hit with Cody, so you can kind of like illustrate the power struggle between both of them.
Yeah, or I mean, and it would go both ways. It would be, you could have Cody as a heel with the Bucks doing it, or you could have Cody as a babyface saying, "I'm the good EVP." There's so many ways you could have gone with this that just doesn't hit like that. But I think that, you know, it's pointless to even talk about at this point, because they're stupid. They are idiots.
Whack. Yeah, they're whack.
Yeah, like there's nothing, there's no way that you can get past this without seeing this not only as a big missed opportunity with stars that they could have had that were built already in the company, but also just that these guys can't pull it off. Like the suits, like the blood on the suits. I'm just like, that's just, the week after, just terrible. It just looks like doo doo on their suits, bro. Like it doesn't look cool at all.
No,
like I've been saying, like, this is taking up way too much time, and Meelz, as you're seeing, it's starting to take up time from like the champion. Like you think about how much of a big deal that title was when MJF held it, to how much time it gets on the show when like Samoa Joe holds it. It's very, it's getting smaller and smaller week by week. Am I wrong?
No, you're not wrong at all. I think, to be honest with you, this could have been a situation. I don't know how Sting wants to. I guess Sting can't do singles matches anymore, but I feel like Sting versus Joe would have probably been the better main event. Considering you have someone who he's worked with in the past, like Samoa Joe, and someone who can take care of him in the ring, like Samoa Joe. I don't get the thing with the Bucks, and then also adding the tag team championships to it. I feel like you could have really excluded the tag team championships and just in general. But again, this company, they're so like creatively bankrupt. But again, people are like cheering for this, and I'm just like, you guys got to do better. You guys got to open your eyes and do better. But they're not the only. This wasn't the only thing this week, featuring top executives who kind of like seemingly missed the mark on whatever they were trying to accomplish. SmackDown very much so lauded the return of The Rock.
It was a good show. It was a good show too.
It was a good show. Good show. The return of The Rock in the main event. Roman Reigns comes out. He does his thing. He talks his talk. It was amazing.
Can I commend him for recognizing that he and Rock were getting too many cheers? Like you know, sometimes you can tell when there's something has changed.
Yeah.
After the acknowledge me, he was getting a lot of cheers, and I think that he took that moment to say, "No, let me get them to boo me, because it's not going to hit if Rock comes out and they're cheering him." So, I really appreciated that part that Roman did.
So Roman gets the crowd rightfully riled up to an extent, and finally The Rock shows up on SmackDown.
And I squinted and I said, "Did they get this nigga off TEMU?" I said, "Who the fuck is this?" And I said,
Go ahead.
He reminded me of one of those like real old Mexican gangsters. They're still banging.
He showed up cosplaying himself from 1999, and that is the part that never sat right with me. This entire thing. Yes, the quote unquote $500 shirt, which I'm looking at. I mean, could it have cost $500 in 1999? Probably, right? More than likely, right? Yeah. $500 was a big deal in 1999. Not anymore. But the fact that the sleeves were cut off, all this, like, seeing him kind of cosplay this version of The Rock, to me was like, all right. I don't think he has any ideas or knows what he was doing at all. And if there's again, clear that this wasn't the plan at all.
Well, he, to me, and before we even get to the words behind the whole thing, he did not seem comfortable in this role.
No.
And I think I'm very clear in saying he did not look comfortable. He did not seem comfortable. He did not saying he didn't, like, he just seemed like he didn't want to do it, but like it seemed like he was not comfortable, because if you look at his movie history, he hasn't played a bad guy since Fast 5 when he first showed up, and then he ended up being a good guy at the end. Like, he hasn't actually played a heel on like he has to like dig deep. And here's the thing. We're saying this now. I thought he did a fantastic job at the press conference, Meelz. Like, I thought he did a great job at the press conference. That was a really, really good. Like, I expected him to do that. I was like, we don't need Hollywood Rock anymore, or some amalgam, some version of that character. We needed the serious version that we saw at the press event, right?
I would, yeah. I mean, that's what I expected that we were going towards. I was just expecting the big homie to come out. You know what I'm saying?
Rock, ultimately, like, sunglasses don't even look right on him. Can we talk about that? They don't even look correct on him no more. Like, they look dumb. And I think that following up with Roman's, like, admittedly kind of a softball kind of throw to him, he ended up looking worse. He ended up looking real bad coming after Roman.
Calling people trailer park trash. We haven't heard trailer park trash since 1999.
I mean, you look at America, we're all trailer park trash. All of us are trailer park trash in America right now. So,
but it's just, to me, like, I expected, you gotta be able to stand in the moment and understand the moment and kind of like understand what this kind of needs, what the story really needs. And I don't think the story needed The Rock. This is like that one year at WrestleMania, John Cena showed up with the chain and the throwback jersey and confronted Elias or something along those lines. Like, it's cute for like one. It's a one-off. You know what I'm saying? It's a healthy reminder. It's a nudge to what happened in the past. But going back to this, and hopefully this isn't like a weekly thing, but it probably is going to end up being one. Going back and making this his character, he doesn't look cool next to Roman Reigns.
No, he just looks bigger. Yeah, like, he don't look cool. He just looks like a big dude. I think that
it firmly feels like two people doing completely separate things.
Like, and can I be real? Like, The Rock is not needed in this whole thing, and I'm still waiting for it to play out, because obviously some things happened on Monday. But the Cody Roman thing didn't need more heat than it already has. You know what I'm saying? Like Cody's already hot. The Rock ain't making him hotter. You know what I'm saying? Like, Roman's not getting any hotter, and Roman, honestly, coming off of, and it's inarguable to me, probably one of his weakest years as champion, and just as a performer of last year, other than like the Mania main event, which obviously was like our match of the year, but like it just he needs to be working a lot more, and I think this kind of drags him down. No, like it just doesn't look good.
I think so. I was looking at 2003 Rock promos. Not that I'm comparing this to Hollywood Rock, because I think this is more aligned of like early post corporation, pre corporation, during corporation, like kind of like version of The Rock. But I was looking at it, first of all, how youthful he is. It's insane. He was like 31 years old when that happened. but it came naturally. And it was the source of a lot of his promos came from his charisma. He got the point off nonetheless, but the source of it was like his charisma, his being able to like off the cuff do these things. I was watching his promos against Hogan. I was watching his promos that he did in Toronto. I was watching all those things, and like ultimately at the end of the day, his goal was to still entertain. And I think he tries to do this here, but it just doesn't hit the same because one, he looks like a giant fucking boulder. Like it's the look of it, it's the voice of him, which is different now. It's a lot of different things. It's just not. It doesn't work in the moment because, to be honest, he's just being inserted into the moment, and it's not. He's trying to figure out how to maneuver in. He's trying to figure out how to like settle himself into this entire thing.
I mean, I think the biggest point of him not getting it was like
his entire explanation of whatever the fuck happened.
Yes, I'm like, are you even watching the product, brother? Like,
first of all, he gave the worst analogies that's all time. Says the San Francisco 49ers got the ass beat at the Super Bowl, and then they didn't complain about it. They got up like a man and tried again. Meanwhile, football season has not started back up yet. Then he gave the Utah Jazz because I'm assuming because they were in Utah is why he brought this up. Like it came in his head. Got beat up by Michael Jordan. And you know what they did? They didn't just sit around and cry about it. They got back up and built themselves again. Michael Jordan beat the shit out of the Utah Jazz multiple times over the decade.
And it was back to back. It wasn't like it was the same as, I mean, the largest glaring issue is that like Cody earned the shot. It's just like they should probably script him. But I also understand how hard it must be.
As a personal scripter.
Exactly. How hard it must who apparently doesn't watch but I feel like Gores probably didn't write that promo. I feel like Rock went out there and winged it. And I think that because I mean here's the thing. You see the gears turning every week. They're doing something different every week, which is something I can appreciate.
Right.
But like ultimately, like it shouldn't take us till March for you to get it right. Right? He's still trying to figure out the cadence of the character, and I'm like, it's a little too late to be still figuring out the cadence of this character. Like, you should know it.
He had no intention on being heel. He had full intention of calling Roman Reigns all types of farts and queefs and all types of other things. Like he had no intention on playing the bad guy in this situation. And Roman Reigns is just, I think he's amused looking like The Rock trying to like walk in these shoes for a very, very long time. I think Jimmy Uso was fucking amused for sure. But if I were to say, I would give The Rock an E for effort. But if I had to give a promo an actual grade, I would give it maybe like a C- because he completely missed the entire mark.
He had no clue what was going on out there. He had no fucking clue.
He got the people. The people were on his, and don't get me wrong, I think people are going to always confuse that he gets these big reactions and big things. People are going to react to The Rock. It just is what it is. Mm-hmm. Like they're not going to sit there on their hands when The Rock comes out. That's what it's part of The Rock's character and his presentation and all, electrifying, all this other stuff like that. They're not going to do that. But I'm sure people in the situation realize it's like, didn't this nigga win the Royal Rumble?
Yeah.
But then the last part, which kind of like really showed Rock's age at this point. The promo ends and he says, finally, the bloodline. Or he said, no, I don't know if it's
if you smell what the bloodline's cooking, yeah.
If you smell what the bloodline is cooking.
That was whacked.
And then they go to put their fingers up. And here comes The Rock coming after me right now.
Yeah, Rock coming. There you go.
And he does the most. It's just a finger, bro.
He put the guns up.
Shout out
to Mark. He put the guns up.
Oh my god! People are already like, I think Rock is turning on Roman Reigns. I'm like, don't think too deep into it.
Yeah, don't think too deep into
it.
I
didn't know what he was doing at all.
Yeah, what does the L mean? He's throwing up L's. Is he Lil Durk affiliated? Listen, he don't know what the fuck he's doing. I think he will get his way. He'll get his way. He'll find his way. I think they're gonna do it as it is. But I think right now, I think it is very clear that they should not diverge from the plans. They should do what they do and get The Rock and Roman out of Cody's atmosphere because the people don't really want to see it. I honestly felt like the people still don't even know how to react to it. Like they're still cheering him. They're still saying his catchphrases. I'm like, maybe you should stop doing the catchphrases. Like just stop doing. Like he's like Meelz. He's still trying to get himself over, and that was what was annoying me. I'm like, why are you still trying to get over? Stop
I feel
saying
like he needs to further incorporate himself within the fabric of WWE, and a large part of what worked with his last heel run was stuff that he did with the Hurricane. Stuff that ultimately they're entertainment segments, but like if The Rock showed up and pressed Kevin Owens, I think people get the like, oh, this nigga's not playing games.
Yeah. Or let's be clear. Instead of doing your catchphrases, piggyback off Roman's. Acknowledge us. But like, how hard is that? Acknowledge us. They will boo him. It's easy. Stop saying your catchphrases. That's like what? This is about Roman. It's not about you.
It's about The Rock. I mean, let's talk about before we get to the predictions, let's talk about the weekly shows kind of like very, very quickly. Okay. SmackDown, great show.
Yeah. I dug it.
We got Kevin Owens defeated Dominic Mysterio in his Elimination Chamber qualifier. So with the help of R-Truth, lots of shenanigans, lots of stuff going around, all this other stuff like that. We got an LA Knight and Drew McIntyre promo that I thought was very competitive. I was like, oh, wow. Something happened there.
Calling me an old timer, bro. I said, hold on now.
And then did you see Drew goes on Twitter and he pulls up their Wikipedia profile?
I said, listen, pussy nigga. Oh no, I said it. I said, listen, pussy nigga. You know where you going when it's over, right?
He says, who's an old timer? AOP had a debut. They squashed Big Body Javi and whoever his tag team partner was.
Was it the Native American dude?
Bo Morris. No. That he does not belong on television. Here's my thing with Elimination Chamber. Why the hell isn't Street Profits versus 4K happening in Australia?
Well, here's the thing, right?
Why is Bobby in the chamber?
Here's the thing. I think that this is the folly of Bobby Lashley. He's got to be in these big moments. Y'all love the nigga. Y'all love him. Y'all love him, right? All right. But here's the thing. I appreciate the fact that there is a premium, at least to Triple H and his writing team or writing staff, that they do give TV matches and have them at a premium. That's why Gunther has TV matches. That's why you're seeing this. Like there should be still things that make you want to tune in. And I know we're frustrated not seeing the Street Profits do much, but I think that there is still a lot that like making it a big deal when they do, even though they really should be wrestling a lot more. So I feel both ways about it.
I agree, but then also you give them things on television like last week, right? And then it goes like 4 seconds. So it's like, clearly they didn't have time for it with everything that's going on. And I completely understand that. But you have the opportunity to continue to advance this feud. Even if it is going to Mania, you could simply do Profits versus AOP with both of them in the corners and see what we get from that. You know what I'm saying? We can build that in a very gradual way. I feel like to make these two groups feel important, you got to put them on important stages. And I think the Elimination Chamber stage, albeit I'll talk about the card in itself, but I think it's an important stage and it's an important step. It's like, okay, we're doing things now. Like these are things that's happened, because if we go back a year from now, we're not going to remember this feud because it didn't happen on a pay-per-view, nor did it build up to a pay-per-view.
Well, we're not going to remember it because like the real stars, you know what I'm saying? The Final Testament, you feel me? Like they should really be in a different spot right now. You know what I mean? Like 4K should be in the chamber as well. You know what I mean? If Bobby Lashley is there, the 4K should be there. Like I feel like you want to put your mid card acts in there, you want to put your upper mid card acts in there. I just feel like, you know, it needs to be, you need to like make them all feel important. If you're only making Bobby feel important, then nobody else is important. You know what I mean? Like that's the frustrating part about it. It's like Bobby is not the most important part, and it's like I really hate. Like let me be clear, I fucking hate the fans who keep cheering this nigga, because this is the reason why he's in the positions that he's in.
Hey man, listen, it's hard. I like Bobby, but yes, they have. Well, I don't want to say they. I feel like there is a Bobby problem in general that needs to be resolved by. I think there needs to be a situation. I don't know what the situation is, to be honest with you, in terms of like if he doesn't want to do these certain things or he does want to do these certain things. I feel like he has the cachet to call his own shot. But there's also like, you got to like fully buy into the position that you're at. Mm-hmm. And I don't think Bobby is fully bought into the position that he's at currently. I still think he thinks that there's a run out there. And I think most people who feel good, look good, and want to compete good. I mean, you see Sheamus every week on Twitter. He's like, hey.
What's up, nigga? Get up. Stand up.
And I got no title here. But yeah, it is what it is. 2 women qualified for Elimination Chamber on SmackDown this week. We got Naomi versus Alba Fire. Great showcase for Naomi. Poor Alba Fire.
I wouldn't say poor Alba Fire. I would say
I hope her moment comes around is all I'm saying.
It's gonna happen for her. I think with Alba, they got kind of put into a shitty situation with these tag belts and so many things happening that were above them at the time. And like, I don't think this company does very well introducing new women in general. Mm-hmm. Other than like Tiffany, you know what I'm saying?
I mean, Tiffany's introduction wasn't all that great either. She slapped the shit out of me Chin and ran away.
Me trash. Let's be clear.
Oh my god.
Be clear who we talking about here. It's me trash.
Tiffany Stratton versus Zelina. I don't know what's going on with Tiffany in this match.
What's wrong with her?
Tiffany almost killed Zelina like 2 times. Like it's one clearly match, it's but here's the thing, right? First of all, it's not one match because this is her second match on SmackDown.
I didn't say it was the first match. I said it's one match. It's just one.
It is. They're all one match. It is what it is. I'm just saying.
It was both sloppy.
I'll give it more to Tiffany in terms of like, because she could have really hurt Zelina. But I would say she probably needs to be more cognizant of like things that are going on in the ring and kind of like lock in a little bit more is all I'll say about that. Because I felt like I looked at, especially towards the finish of the match, when she positioned Zelina, I was like, she's not going to hit her. And sure enough, knees in the arm, knees in the ribs. That could have broken her arm. So I was like, you know what? It is what it is. They had a backstage segment to set up Tiffany Stratton versus Liv next week on SmackDown. Also, Jade Cargill in the segment as well. So Jade Cargill, kind of like an Easter egg on these shows. She has not signed yet the contract.
Some people are big braining the and to wrap my thought to put my thoughts on Tiffany in a bow. I think that she's a work in progress. I think we see that even on Raw this week. There's a lot of things they're trying to like get through with her, and I think that like she's ultimately she's gonna get there. But again, it's like she's had to wrestle in very small arenas for a very long time, and I think that like a lot of it is being around those veterans and those vets, and you know she'll get it. She'll be fine. Wait, what was the next point? I'm sorry.
Jade Cargill.
Jade Cargill. Yes, there's a lot of people that big braining this, talking about some. I saw Cage Side Seats say Jade Cargill or something like that didn't show up on SmackDown or some shit like that. I'm like, bro, do y'all think that she's really gonna be on SmackDown? She left the contract in the room. Like, here's the thing.
I think because she's not on Elimination Chamber, which was originally what it was rumored to be, that she was going to be on Elimination Chamber.
And to be honest, that's my issue. It's rumored. They never said that she was going to be there.
And nor would I have put her on Elimination Chamber.
Yeah, like
I just wouldn't have done it in general. Like, and I don't think it's an idea that, to be honest with you, kind of like #knowing age. I don't think he would be like, oh, the first match for this girl that we're trying to teach how to wrestle properly is going to be an elimination chamber with 5 other women. Like that just doesn't make sense.
Like what? Like what? Why are people big braining this so much about her debut? I was like, listen, I know everybody's really excited about her debuting. Like they really want to see her debut. I get that. I really do get it. It's going to happen, bro. Just let it happen. Let it happen. Like it's not happening yet because they're planning a bigger situation for her. So
it's already better than the AEW run, to be honest with you.
Yeah, come on, you're treating it like a big deal. Like I don't see what the complaints are about. You know what I'm saying? I don't see what all of the big deals is about. You know,
I agree.
I think she's gonna be fine. She's gonna be okay. She looked great. I think that like again, I like the story of like she don't necessarily like the women on that brand because they look at them. She want to go to a brand where it could be all about her.
She don't like the offer that she was given. She was like,
yeah,
niggas like him could accept this little contract, this rinky dink shit.
He said, Brian, you was wrestling in the goddamn bar compared to what I was doing, nigga.
She was like, I don't know about this contract at all. Yeah. And I was like, you know what? Fair.
I get it.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? But Braun Breaker signed to SmackDown, so he will be debuting next week on SmackDown.
This week.
Oh, yes, this week on SmackDown. So, you know what? Official
he is really one of the rare cases of a talent we literally saw on day one. He had only had 5 to 7 matches when we first saw him
before we saw on 2.0, yeah.
Right. And I had a and I know probably Cyrus and Quan did too, like have a sense of like, damn, we saw him from the beginning, from the grind, when people were like really unsure about the guy. You know what I'm saying? Like we really saw him make his way, and I think that it was a really cool moment for him, and I'm super proud of the guy. I think he's a great wrestler, and I think he's only learned from last year. We were just talking about it last year, around April, May last year. There was a reason they didn't get called up, and it was because he wasn't ready yet. Now, from 6 months of him doing nothing on that show, I definitely feel like he's ready now.
I think. And maybe, kind of like what you're saying with the Tiffany thing, I think also for him it'll take time. I'm not saying that we haven't seen anything in the ring yet, but I think this is our first time really seeing, for those who have not wrestled before WWE, because I'm not going to count Carmelo, because Carmelo's been wrestling for years. What that call up, what that 2.0 really, how it really looks, right? When you take a wrestler you got from nothing and now preparing them for the main roster, in the 2.0 era of WWE, different than the original PC kind of era. So I think we'll see how this kind of all goes and shakes out. I feel like, again, he'll take some more time. I don't expect to see him like plunge into the U.S. title scene or any other scene very, very quickly. I expect him to he might even be in a tag team. Who knows? But
nah, he's definitely squashing niggas.
I'll say we'll see. But he's definitely squashing niggas this week on SmackDown, yes. Let's see what else happened on SmackDown. Miz versus Logan Paul. Logan Paul wins. More Dakota Kai and Bayley stuff.
Let's go to Raw.
Raw. Prediction is not that long. Raw, we had Cody Rhodes versus Drew McIntyre kick off the show. What a match.
I be getting scared because I'm like, it's so close to Mania, bro. You gotta put that nigga Cody. I'm serious. Put that nigga Cody in the hyperbolic time chamber. That nigga don't need to do. He don't got to prove no more than what he proved on this match. But really good match. What a fucking win for Drew. He must have resigned. He said it. I said,
I bet we hear it in the thing. I bet we hear it in the report this week.
Yeah. He definitely resigned. Cody hasn't lost since like last May, June.
Yeah.
Since the Brock match. I couldn't have thought of a better person to give that rub to. It made sense. The callback was great. They're layering, like I said, the Cody parts of this Roman feud are hitting. more than the actual like, Roman part of this feud. Like it's almost like they're not doing anything compared to what he's doing. I don't know. Do you feel the same way?
No, I mean I feel exactly the same way. I feel, but I also it's twofold. It's telling the story. It's managing to merge that story between Cody Rhodes and Drew McIntyre, and this is things that are only happening in the H era, exclusive to the H era. Is that you can have these two stories going on. They can intersect, even if they're Drew isn't the goal for Cody, but you can say that these two characters are strong enough where something is going to happen, because of just they're strong characters on the show. So both of them doing the thing, it's awesome. Like it really, really is.
And again, it weaves in. They even and I love the continuity. It's Michael Cole and Pat questioning why he would even allow the Bloodline to do that. Like if you hate them so much, why you not riding right now? You know what I'm saying? Like those are like legitimate questions. And I love Drew saying, I do this for the fans. And you know what I'm saying? Like I really fuck with the way that they did that. The loss made sense. It doesn't hurt Cody at all because it's the same. Again, it's the same way he lost last year, but also showing that the Bloodline is going to be, you can't go it alone anymore. And that makes me a little bit less concerned about the Seth stuff because it makes a lot of more sense.
I'm glad.
Do you
think, I wasn't concerned at all.
Do you think we're getting, honestly, I feel as though we're going to get that tag match on TV at this point.
No, it's happening at Mania, bro.
You feel like tag match happening at Mania night one?
I'm like almost 100% sure it's happening at Mania.
How does that work for Seth, who would realistically have to also wrestle twice?
He's wrestling twice too. That's just really what it is. I think they're both going to wrestle twice. It's a bad situation for the card, but also, I mean, the thing is, I don't know about rumors, right? I've heard things that sponsors want The Rock on the card for WrestleMania. And it was actually like, because of the whole thing, like they want sponsors on the card. I mean, they want The Rock on the card. So I feel like The Rock is going to be on this card for WrestleMania. And the only way it makes sense is through this tag team match that they're currently setting up. I think they're doing a twofold thing where they're establishing the relationship between Rock and Roman as they did on SmackDown. And then when it comes to Elimination Chamber, we're going to establish the relationship between Cody and Seth. And to be honest with you, we might get a run-in from Solo or Jimmy or something along those lines. I feel like we'll get in a run-in there too.
Maybe the idea is because Rock said he wants to make sure Cody leaves a loser. And so the idea is that like he softens them up on night one. Night two, Cody comes in, taped up ribs, all of that.
Right. I think that could be the closing of WrestleMania, the first night of WrestleMania, to kind of like build that Cody moment right there.
Like, will Cody make it? Will he seems injured? Will he be the,
I'm interested to see what happens at Elimination Chamber with Cody and Seth, but I expect them to be like, I don't know if they're going to throw out the challenge, but I expect it imminent in the next couple days. At least sometime in the next week, that match, that challenge is going to happen.
Yeah. We also had a big Donnybrook between the women. I thought it was a solid segment.
I was going to say before that, Raquel Rodriguez returned.
Yes, I popped for that. I thought it was a really.
I thought it was nice.
Yeah, it was a real feel good moment for her to come back, knowing what she had been through. Just a terrible thing with her skin and all that stuff. Like just to have the courage to go back out there, and it was really cool to see.
Fully thought, who did I expect was going to win this match? I think I was expecting like Zelina or something.
What? I think when Raquel went out there, I was like, oh, she's winning.
No, I mean, yes, of course, but literally 2 minutes before the match, I saw it was no longer a 5-way match. I was like, oh, it's a battle royal? When the fuck did this happen? They were promoting it as like last chance, everyone who lost is getting back in. And then they added like 10 other women, including Raquel. So once Raquel came out, I was like, oh, Raquel's probably winning this one. And you know what? The chamber is better for it. Tiffy got a lot of work ahead of her, but we'll get to that in the predictions. But yes, the Donnybrook between the women. Who do you think came off the best in that situation?
We take it Becky not included because that's just too easy. I thought Tiffany was good on the mic.
Okay. All
I
right.
thought it
I
was
see
going to
Tiffany.
she's got something with the "It's Tiffy time" thing. I think it's a catchphrase that like really gets under people's skin. And I thought Bianca came out on some with some fire that I haven't really heard from Bianca in a long time, right?
I agree. I'll also say something's different with Liv.
Yeah, something's up with Liv, eh? she
Liv
seems she
does
seems a
not
bit
smile
perturbed.
anymore. She doesn't
Yeah,
smile.
she seems a bit perturbed. I wonder why.
Mm. So yeah, interesting there.
There was a lot of SmackDown talent on this show tonight.
Good. I mean,
Obviously,
shit.
they're all traveling. They're all traveling. So
All
I
hands
get
on deck. Fuck it.
yeah.
Mania. Other people showed up after the show too. It was like, nigga, since we here. Nia Jax shows up and beats up everybody. Good showing for Nia Jax. Not that she needed it, but I feel like it was definitely like, all right, let's build a thread of this. That no
She's
matter who, go ahead.
she's been going dummy since she came back. Not even gonna lie, can't lie to you.
It's very, very cool. Great 8-man tag match between Judgment Day and Awesome Truth and DIY.
Dicks.
Great match between Chad Gable and Ivar. There was a UFC star on Raw for whatever reason.
He was going crazy on Connor. I thought that segment was fire. I was
I
like,
thought it
this
was
shit
lit.
hard.
Yeah, I thought it was lit. I don't know why they've had the WrestleMania sign in the background, but hey, maybe it's a TKO.
They're teasing that there might be some like that there might be some integration there.
Okay.
There might be some integration there. It makes a lot of sense. I think that like ultimately what you want to do is make these companies look and feel like big deal, like big money, big, big everything. You feel me? So I thought it worked out really well.
Do you send Brock back to UFC to get the heat off of him?
Nah, I think when he gets back, you really have that moment where Brock comes in and he maybe does commentary, or you're like, there's so many avenues you could go if Brock gets cleared of this whole thing that he's in right now, that you could go with this whole thing. And I think it would all work. I wouldn't be mad at any of it, honestly.
I think you're more likely to see Brock's first appearance at UFC before WWE.
Yeah.
I think so. I think if they want to soft integrate him back into the thing, you make it an exciting thing if they choose to go that route. And then the main event of Raw was Gunther versus Jey Uso for the Intercontinental Championship. Great match. Highly anticipated. Highly just a great main event. And, they aren't going to Perth. So it's great to have that show. Listen, Anaheim got a great show. You should have went.
No, it's raining too crazy out here, bro.
Okay.
It's raining way too crazy. Yeah.
All right. It was sold out. You saw when they did the little crowd shot? It was
that
like,
shit was
look at our whole arena.
They are working, bro. Listen, they made it look full, or it was full. They made it look cool. They're trying a lot of different cool stuff. And like, I gotta say, I've been seeing less of the zoom, like the every time they punch, the camera change stuff too. Like they've been staying on shots. It's like the little things they're doing right now that I really appreciate. Even the 2K integration has been really dope also.
Absolutely. With the little overall scores, that's been amazing. Did we call it or did we call it?
But the Jimmy thing? Yeah, we called it.
Yeah, we absolutely called it. It was going to be, and you hadn't even realized that Jey Uso has been costing this man every title shot that he's had over since like last August.
Yeah.
But he also cost him this one, and it looks like we're setting up for a big mania match. So
this is last year, 1 year ago, they said they wanted to do this, and I think I said it a couple months ago. Like, what better way to really thank Jimmy and Jay for their work and their effort and all the things that they did over the pandemic and stuff like that, than giving them what they've been asking for. I think that's top guy shit, honestly.
I agree. And then post Raw, CM Punk showed up, and I learned that Cody and I have the same sneakers, which makes me kind of question my own choices now.
Why?
I was like, wow, I can't believe we got the same sneakers. How do you feel about CM Punk just showing up to things? Seems like he really likes to be around.
I think they want him around. I think they want him around, right? Like, I feel as though in AEW they did not want him around, and they
wanted him. He wanted to be around in it. He was around way more than he should have been in AEW, I think.
Yeah. I mean, they didn't have the. I mean, but I also feel like they largely rebuffed any offers that he had of being just like the big homie, right? Absolutely. So I think that, you know, if he wants to be around, let him be around. I think it's cool. It's a good moment for the fans. He seems to really want to be there and help people. And if he wants to do that and not be a negative influence, then fucking why not? You know?
Absolutely. Love it. Love it. Let's go to Elimination Chamber predictions.
Yes. I will be watching this probably. I'm probably going to stay.
We're not watching this live. Neither of us are watching this.
No. I'm going to watch it probably like 11 or 12 my time. When I fully wake up, or I might watch it early. I don't know. I think Mark's supposed to come over, so we might watch it together. But it's from Perth, Australia. Again, the globalness of WWE. There's a lot of things planned. I want to start not with the match, but the segment, the Grayson Waller effect with Cody and Seth. What are we thinking here? What do we think is going to happen here?
I think they're going to shit on The Rock and Roman. It's kind of going to be like the retort. You know what I'm saying? The official retort. Mm-hmm. And which will prompt Rock and Roman. Someone's going to attack Seth. Not on this show, but it's going to prompt the attack next week, Monday on Raw. And we're going to head towards a tag team title match. I mean, not a tag team title match, a tag team match. But then also, I mean, by the time this is over, we'll also know Seth's opponent for his world championship as well. But I really think we're heading towards we're really building that tag team match. And this is part of it.
Yeah. I agree. I think you get this. You get the handshake. I think you get the Mega Powers. This is feeling Mega Powers-y, right? To me, like it feels like Mega Powers. Seth and Cody.
Seth and Cody in matching gear. Come on, man.
Yeah. That, I mean, Triple H popped off that press conference by talking about that tag match that popped off that first Mania, and I think you got to do that with their new generation of stars, and that would make the most sense to me, honestly.
Oh, there's going to be a press conference for this too. I think the day before, though.
Yep, day before on Thursday, I think.
Thursday, 8 p.m. your time. I think 11 p.m. my time.
Yep,
I think.
To the matches, we got the Judgment Day versus the New Catch Republic of Pete Dunne and Tyler Bate. What?
No, I didn't like their name.
You don't like anything?
Oh yeah, I didn't like the name. I like them.
This is going to be a hotly contested match. I still think it's DIYs to win. Ultimately,
this is
because
H's NXT.
Yeah, pretty much. Like they're defending the title just like them too. This is feeling very Undisputed Era-ish in terms of just them winning all the time. I think it's going to be a hotly contested match. I don't see Judgment Day losing. I'm still wondering, Meelz. They've completely dropped the breakup storyline, which I'm okay with. I don't mind. You know, if there's no more to that. But the Truth thing's going, Rhea thing's going. When does it make sense for him to cash in? I'm still thinking Raw after Mania, but I still feel like they might try and do a moment at Mania where he catches under them after the tag match.
It's going to be on a Raw. I feel like it's going to be on a Raw. But I don't know. They haven't really set it up yet. He said, though, that, which was a great thing, he says he's unable to currently cash in because Seth is not officially medically cleared. So he cannot cash in on a champion that's not medically cleared. And the reason why he doesn't cash in on Roman is because Roman is never around. And nor is he ever in peril or anything because he has that big, giant fucking bloodline around him. So he's really in a conundrum. Well, he's going to have to figure out a way. I expect Drew to be a part of it, and I expect Seth to be the victim of it. But yeah, I mean, this match, it's pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would like to see more interesting things going on.
Yeah, I got them winning this. I would love to see their direction for Mania. It's looking like they're gonna hold the titles all the way up to Mania. So, there it is. But next match. I think we both think Judgment Day is gonna win. But next match on here, Rhea Ripley versus Nia Jax, the singles match for the Women's World Championship. they've been building this for quite some time now. I think this is probably the most story of any match on this card.
It'll probably close the show. I'm almost sure it's closing the show. It's Rhea.
I don't know. I could. I mean, I'm not denying that, but I think that ultimately you want to finish strong, I guess. So that makes
sense. You're not finishing strong with the other two chambers, because the two other chambers have been. You know what? We'll get to it when we get to it. I think, again, they've been doing a great job. They've kept Rhea Ripley away from Judgment Day over the last number of weeks because they want to kind of like promote her as this big face leading into this.
Mm-hmm.
Nia Jax, you know, I still think there could be more effort in thinging, but I think she's starting to get it a lot more than she did in her previous run.
More effort in what?
I think there still could be more effort in improving, but I think she ultimately gets it from a character standpoint. Like, she gets what she is.
Yeah.
And she gets what role that she's playing, and she knows the role that she's playing. And I look forward to seeing this match because I think, one, Rhea Ripley needs this match. Her reign, last time she defended the title was against Ivy Nile.
Yeah, on Raw. Mm-hmm.
And I couldn't tell you when she defended it before that. Maybe Survivor Series against Zoe Stark.
It was Maxine before that.
No, it wasn't. She didn't defend against Maxine.
Well, she had a match against Maxine.
Right. But I think her title run needs this because this is like really her first major competitor since Charlotte.
Yep.
So
I got Rhea winning this main event. I don't know unless they go in 20.
They might go 20, bro.
I could see this happening in the middle of the show. I honestly think the men will close. I think the women will probably open and the men will close. Or you can end with the women.
This card needs one more fucking match. I get the Cody and Waller thing. I get that. But it needs one more match.
What would it be?
Besides,
I'm not opposed. I mean, the Elimination Chamber alone is like a 40-minute match, like the Rumble is.
Yeah.
So you got that right there. You got two of them. So I like what would it be if not those two matches?
I mean, you can't do Gunther apparently, but I feel like I don't know. It just needs another match. I feel like it's just something else to. Also, I feel like you have this great opportunity. You're going to Australia. You haven't been in years. You haven't really been. You've been there maybe once in the last like 20 years. Like, invite more people. Like, I know we're match quality now over everything, and not every card needs the top guys. But I feel like for a stadium show like this, to only have 4 matches.
I would not complain at 2 hours and 50 minutes. I won't complain.
I mean, one thing H gonna do is extend this fucking match, extend this card for real. But yeah, I'll say that. Which Elimination Chamber? Yeah,
I go to the men. Drew McIntyre versus Randy Orton versus Bobby Lashley versus LA Knight versus Kevin Owens versus Logan Paul. Elimination Chamber match for a shot at Seth Rollins' World Heavyweight Championship at Mania. I think this is the match that builds a couple of storylines, but I could only see one real person winning this match, right? Like, there's only like one Raw.
That's what I was going to ask you. I was like, realistically, what do you think? We know who's going to win this match, so realistically, what do you think is coming out of this match?
The storylines. I think that I could see a path to Logan versus LA.
Mm-hmm.
I could see Orton versus KO. That's never happened at Mania before. I think they should probably get away from Logan and Kevin unless they're going to do it again, or you do LA versus Randy at Mania, which would be fine as well. I think you got to give LA his reps if you're going to have him be on that pedestal. But Drew is kind of odd man out because like he just beat Cody. None of these guys have beaten Cody before.
Not to mention he's the only Raw guy in this match.
Yeah, he's the only Raw guy in the match. I looked at this the other day and I was like, I wonder who made the writing for this. But then again, it also makes sense because the SmackDown mid card is very much like up in the air. There's no real storyline. So like Bobby, you could take him out. It's all about trying to figure out what Logan, Randy, and LA are going to do. And I think that this match kind of gets you there.
I feel like we could have swapped out a couple of these guys. Kevin Owens, I wouldn't put in here. Bobby, I wouldn't put in here.
It's the folly of Bobby Lashley, bro. You gotta have him in these. He always has to be in these fucking big moments he don't belong in.
I would have put Dominic in this match. I know they originally like scheduled Dominic and Brock, and they said that originally something there was supposed to happen in this card. But I would have put Dominic in this match just for like continue the elevation of Dominic because he's just kind of like getting R-Truth right now.
One thing I wanted to ask off topic. We didn't bring it up earlier. Who do you think is going to be Sammy's Mania opponent?
Shit. God, it might be Gunther at this point. Gunther doesn't have anything going on. Sammy's in the quest for a championship. I think he's in the quest for... I think beating Gunther's streak could revive him in a way. Not to say that I think he will do it. But I think maybe that's what he strives for. But realistically, I can't see any other path for him.
I just feel like Gunther like is not what I want to see Sammy doing.
Make it a ladder match. I don't know. Shit.
It's just not what I want to see him doing. But who knows?
The thing with H booking is it's a lot of stop and wait, right?
Yeah.
Like it's like we want to do this thing with someone, but we're doing this thing with someone else. And so hold off for now. And when we finish doing this thing with something else, then we'll get back to you. And I'm sure that was told to Bobby in 2020. and 1,200 days later, he's just like, so we just, I guess, right?
Oh no.
It's a we're clearly, I think he wants to tell the story of Sami Zayn going for that championship, that world championship. But the world championship clearly has other plans right now. And to be honest with you, even if it wasn't Seth versus Drew, it would have been Seth versus Punk. So he wouldn't have been in it. It probably would have been Sammy versus Drew.
Mania.
But also he might try to sneak his way into Elimination Chamber. He seems desperate.
Tying it back to Elimination Chamber, I did appreciate that he said he's going to leave Drew alone because at the end of the day, you have that lingering loss for Sammy there. And if he wins the title from Seth, realistically, or whatever happens, you could go back to that later with the title. And that could be a hook, is that you never beat me. Like I whooped your ass earlier this year. So I got Drew McIntyre winning this men's Elimination Chamber, and I have a bunch of stories coming out of it. And I think, again, there is a Mania's 40 seems to be set in stone, firmly set in stone, other than the positioning of what Seth is going to be doing. I just don't know if it's a good idea to have him like lose the title on night one and then go out and help Cody. You know, it just seems strange. But yeah, I would love to be wrong about that, but I think that I think ultimately like it's still an interesting pathway. I think Seth and Drew are cool, but the thing is, you got to make that match mean something because Seth's already beaten this guy like 2-3 times already. So
absolutely,
how are they gonna hype this up again? So we'll see.
Yeah, that's all I got.
Women's Elimination Chamber, you got Becky Lynch versus Bianca Belair versus Liv Morgan versus Tiffany Stratton versus Naomi versus Raquel Rodriguez. I'll say Raquel added the star power to this, in my opinion. I think that like it was cool, and then she got added to it, and I was like, okay, it feels like it feels like honestly anyone could win, even if I think Becky's gonna win. I feel like I wouldn't be mad, other than Tiffany, like obviously because it's too early. I wouldn't be mad at anybody coming out on top here.
I think you were definitely going to have a lagging 6 woman coming into this match if it wasn't for Raquel. But I also feel like, honestly, I was going to put in Natty. I was like, just put in Natty, to be honest with you.
This is way better. It's way
Yeah,
better.
this is better. But I can see a lot of things coming out of this one too. We still don't have what Bianca Belair is doing for WrestleMania currently figured out. Liv Morgan is on her revenge tour. Tiffany Stratton is kind of like the new hotness. Naomi's returning on an upper scale, and Raquel Rodriguez. I mean, she likely wants revenge against Rhea as well, and also Nia Jax. But Becky Lynch has been telegraphed too hard, way too hard, for me not to think that anybody else but Becky Lynch is winning this. I would be shocked, legitimately shocked, if they went with anybody else. Could they go with if they had to go with someone else? Could they go with a Bianca Belair versus Rhea Ripley? I think that would slap.
It would, but it will also be very much not what we thought that was going to be built to. And I think that like
WWE doesn't like doing that thing where they ignore the shit that they've been doing for the last number of weeks.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense to do
Except
that.
One time.
I think if you want that one time 2 weeks ago, I think that like ultimately like there's no one else that makes sense, but there's also storylines that come out here. I think it's being really heavily hinted that it's either going to be Tiffany Bianca or Tiffany Naomi for Mania too. So it's like you've got a storyline there. Liv seems to be kind of like turning a bit heelish. So I mean, there could be an idea that she's frustrated that she's not getting Rhea, and she just turns to the dark side. Like I think there's some edge to her character that's coming, and that this was an edge that was coming to her before she even got injured. So they're continuing that story, honestly. But again, I'm not mad at anybody here save Tiffany winning. I think this is good experience for Tiffany. I think that she's in there with experts, and I think that they're gonna have time to practice this match, and I think that having her in there with people that like she can honestly learn from is gonna be a boon for her. It's gonna be a really, really big advantage for her. And she's worked with Becky before, and she'll be working with a lot of other people who are in their own right ring general, so it'll be really exciting to see.
She's got her moonsault spot planned, I'm sure. She's just like, okay, we're gonna moonsault.
Bro, imagine she moonsaults. She does the prettiest moonsault ever and jumps to the cell, the little cell there, and
the pod.
That's how athletic. Yeah, the pod. That's how athletic I think she is. She'll go through 1, 2, 3, and then hit the 4, and then hit the moonsault. That'd be fire.
That would be nuts. Yeah, it's no one but Becky at this point. I'm interested to see what they. I mean, there's a. My thing is that there's a couple spots available for the women on this show. I think we get at least 2 women matches per night. There's already 2 title matches set up, so it's like, what do we do with the other 2? But I also feel like they want to get a bunch of women on the card as well. So to be honest with you, I feel like, I don't know, there's gonna be a tag team with 2 of these women. Or you know what? Let's wait till SmackDown. Some shit happens on SmackDown that people should pay attention to. And let's wait till SmackDown, and then we can make our thing. But yeah, it's Becky all the way.
Yeah, Team Becky over here. Yeah, that is the show. That is Elimination Chamber. I don't know where this is gonna go. I don't know how the show is gonna be. I have no clue what they're thinking. I don't know. So we'll be able to have but I mean, here's the thing though, Meelz. We will have such a better idea of where this card is going to go come Monday. And
the WrestleMania card.
Yeah, the WrestleMania card. Come Monday, we'll have a cleaner idea of what the main events are going to be come Monday. And yeah, I honestly feel like you mentioned this earlier, but I honestly feel like if they were going to do some sort of like addition, I would just add Becky in the crew, or not Becky, Bailey, a tag match between Bailey and them. Would that make sense?
I thought something like that would happen, but apparently they aren't on the card either. The only Australian on the, I mean, there's 2 Australians on the card.
Yeah,
but
also, Dakota's not Australian, bro. I know you were going there, but she's not Australian.
I was talking about Bronson Reed, first of all.
Yeah,
right. About Indy Hartwell, second of all. So I think you need to jump in a lot of conclusions. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, see,
come on.
See,
all right. Well,
this? Yeah.
Amen. I'm just calling it like I sees it.
Oh my
But
god. All right. Let's get out of here. We gotta go to sleep now so we can wake up to watch Elimination Chamber. So thank you guys for listening. We'll be back next week with a rundown of what happened on Elimination Chamber and where we're at in the Mania card. So make sure you tune into that. Thank you guys for listening. For Meelz, I'm Justin, and we'll see you guys next week. Be safe. Peace.